Hello guys and welcome to today's video. Today is the 8.1.1 walkthrough, the first of Act 8 and Chapter 1. I'm trying to get all this done to try and reach Paragon. Obviously, as you guys know, I need a few more of the rank 4 materials. I still need 3 rank 4s, I haven't even got 1 yet. So that is a little bit of an issue. So I needed to go through Act 8 and sort of try and get as many materials as I can from completion. So that's what I'll be doing now, while also sort of bringing out tomorrow's video will be a Battlegrounds video, and then the day after that will probably be an 8.1.2, but I'm not too sure yet. I do have to go to the hospital soon, so this weekend actually, so I don't know how many videos I'll be getting up. But let's jump into this video. So today we have the weapon node and disarm nodes, so these are quite fun. You can get quite a lot out of these. Just because, for example, the weapon node is red Riot shield. This is whenever the defendant makes contact with you, they have a 20% chance to inflict a trauma debuff, which causes each hit to deal additional 50% damage to you as burst of physical damage. However, these are removed when, or the traumas are removed when the defender throws a special attack, which is for a lot of these champs not ideal. I'll explain that further in a minute. So for example, with Blade, if you push him to his SP2 and you have lots of traumas on you, that will do a lot of burst of physical damage. I'm in a lot of trouble here. I actually just die. Intriguing, but yeah, I've missed out a few of these fights just to make it a bit quicker. But the other node is the stun. So whenever the attacker applies a stun to the defender, so whenever you stun this defender, the red Riot shield goes on cooldown, or the weapon node goes on cooldown, and you can do a lot of damage when on cooldown. Your special 2's do 400% extra damage, so you want champs with big SP2s in here. 3 of the champs are skill champs. We've got Blade, then we have Craven and Misty Knight. So mutant champs do quite good in this. I bought in Kitty Pryde, as you will see. She did some big SP2 damage. So does Professor X, so he was in here too. Other good champs who'll work. Shang-Chi has massive SP2s. Warlock I bought in for his big SP2s. I bought in Professor X because you have to be wary of that Miles Morales. If you haven't got a good counter, then that can cause you a real issue. And then Mystic Spidey works, Infamous Iron Doom works, actual Doctor Doom works. Storm is really, really good. So is Nick Fury. And then also to help against sort of having immune to debuffs, which is what happens when the disarm, sort of when every time they throw a special attack, they get a debuff immunity, and then obviously you can't stun them. So it's all about sort of playing around the node. What I would recommend is sort of building up, getting your SP2, try not to get hit too many times. Use those traumas as as willpower, and then from there, after that, stun them with your SP2 out. Even if they're unless your SP2 does a lot of debuffs, but then you want to throw that, and that does an absolute ton of damage. So here, the real issues on this path, the real difficult fights are obviously that Miles Morales, because he goes invisible at special attacks, so that can be really annoying. If you have a Professor X, he's really good for this. Hercules is really good for this, obviously with the miss counters. Or Nick Fury, another one who's really good at Human Torch, works too. And we've got the Craven, who's not too difficult, just bait into his SP2, and then you can avoid him easily dex all of his special attack. Mojo is the real problem here. You want to, it's just because it gives you a lot to think about. So what you want to try and do is bring in champs who have a little bit of degeneration resistance. These are like Null or Quicksilver with the Wiccan synergy. Try and get as sort of a little degeneration as possible, or some good power control, and just try and take her down as much as possible. Again, what I did was I ended up using 2 champs on her just to get her down, or get him down. It was just a bit of a pain, but In the end, it didn't go too badly, and as you can see here with Professor X, he's who I took with Misty Knight. Keep her to SP1, it's so much easier to dex. His SP2 is really, her SP2 is really hard and can sometimes be unblockable, which will do a ton of damage. So yeah, you want to try and keep to throw in these big SP2s, like you can see there with Professor X. And that's really all of the nodes. You have the clean slate node, which I touched upon, which is when the defender finishes a special attack, they get debuff immunity. So White Mags can really help with, his pre-fight can really help with this. He also has a big SP2, so that's really helpful too, because he puts that passive stun on. But other than that, there's not actually too much of this node. The more you play it, you'll just get used to how this works. It's not too complex. You will pick it up quite easily. But big SP2s are sort of where you want to go. Colossus, Mole Man, Shang-Chi, Warlock, Apocalypse, Storm, Nick Fury. Loads of options. Just bring in whoever you've got in your deck who has big SP2s, and this should be a real blast, and it is quite fun when you see those big yellow numbers. So the Yellow Jacket is also a little bit annoying. He doesn't have too much on him. It's just those power stings. Other than that, like that, they are the defenders. We will move now on to the Red Skull boss. Talk you through that one, but that fight actually was not too difficult, and if you've got the right counter, who I think you guys know who it is, then it should be much easier for you guys. So we were back at the Red Skull boss. Here has Steady, Perseverance, Debuff, Synthesis, Poison, Vulnerability, and Return Policy. So here you want, whenever the debuff Synthesis is a stun and a bleed, so you want champs who put lots of bleeds on, then when you stun them, this becomes a poison. That's because the poison has 200% extra attack rating when you land an attack. And then you've also got critical set up. When the attacker ends a combo with the same attack they ended it with, you get a guaranteed crit, so this can help. So medium, light, medium, and you can sort of fly through that with crits, especially with the poisons on. Good champs for this are really Diablo, lots of bleed champs like Nick Fury's, Black Cat, as well as champs like Gore. So a good one for this is Gore, especially with his buff that came out this week. He's good because you obviously get that good big Gore God Bomb in his SP3, but also you can build up those bleeds and poisons, and then these can combine with together to make, you know, extra poisons, and then those poisons do a lot of damage. So he's probably a really, really good counter. However, I ignored all of the nodes basically and just went with Gallon. You know, all the armor ups that the Red Skull gets just means that it's easy harvest for Gallon. He does have stun immunity as well, so every time he throws a special attack, he is stun immune for around 6 seconds. That is a little bit annoying, but you can play around that. You just have to remember with Red Skull, do not hit into his block, otherwise you'll take so much damage. Oh, I'll show you guys in a minute that I do that, and it absolutely it just does so much damage. There's nothing I can do. Also bait his SP1 because his SP2 can do a lot of damage. It's also a little bit harder to deck, so just keep dashing back with his SP1, let him become stun immune, and it's not difficult. One he also has is you can't bring nullified champs. If you bring in a Doom or somebody with a nullify, he will gain an absolute ton of power. So you want to avoid nullifies. Neutralize does work, I believe, but nullifies do not, so you have to be really careful of what champs you're going to bring in. But like I said, good counters are those with lots of bleeds. Black Panther works as well. Killmonger will also work, or champs with lots of poisons. You know, Immortal Abomination would work really nicely for this path as well. But that will sort of do it for this one. In a minute, you'll see I hit into his block. I try and intercept, hit into his block. It does so much damage, so you really have to be careful of that. But other than that, if you've got a Gallon, if you've got like I said, a Nick Fury, a Gore, ranked up Gore will absolutely smash this fight. That'll work best for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Sorry it's been a bit of a, I don't know if the voice sounds funny or anything. I've just moved in. I'm being a little bit quiet. I've got a bit of a cold, so I do apologise for that. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.